Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes in life we face moments when it feels like we're standing on the edge of a cliff, staring down into a deep, dark void. And it feels like there's no one around to help, no one to talk to, no one to lift you up. You feel isolated, alone, like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders and there's nobody around to share it with. Maybe you've been feeling that way for a while. Maybe you've been struggling to connect, wondering why it seems like everyone else has people in their corner, but you don't. But I need you to hear me when I say this, you are not alone. You've never been alone, and you will never be alone. I know it might not feel that way. I know the pain of loneliness. I know the frustration of trying and trying, only to feel like you keep hitting walls. But let me tell you something this moment. This season of your life, this struggle, this feeling of being disconnected is not the end of your story. It's just the beginning. And how you choose to see this moment, how you decide to respond to this moment, will determine the kind of person you become on the other side of it. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that because you don't have people around you right now, that somehow you're not worthy, that somehow something's wrong with you, that maybe you're not good enough, not lovable enough. But hear me, there is nothing wrong with you. You are worthy. You are valuable. And the people who are meant to be in your life will find you, but first you have to find yourself. I'm not telling you that your loneliness doesn't hurt. I'm not telling you that it doesn't feel like an ache in your chest, a hole in your heart. But what I am telling you is that this feeling is temporary. This pain, this loneliness is a season. And just like every season, it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. You're not stuck here forever. You've got work to do. You've got dreams to chase. And if you let this season of your life break you, then you'll miss the opportunity that lies in the pain. You'll miss the chance to grow into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. You're standing at a crossroads right now. One path leads you down the road of self-pity, blaming others for your loneliness, letting it define you, letting it break you. The other path is a hard one. It's the path of personal growth, of self-discovery, of resilience. The path where you take ownership of your own happiness. The path where you decide that you are your own best friend, that you are enough. It's not an easy path, but it's the one that will take you to the life you want to build, to the future you deserve. Listen, life is not always going to give you what you want when you want it. It's not always going to hand you a crowd of people to surround yourself with. Sometimes you have to learn to walk alone. Sometimes you have to learn to be your own rock. Sometimes you have to build your own confidence and rely on your own strength before anyone else can see you for who you truly are. I know it's hard. I know it feels like you're invisible sometimes, like nobody's noticing your pain, your effort, your ambition. But what I want you to understand is that every person who walks into your life or walks out of it is a part of your journey. People come and go. Relationships are sometimes fleeting. But your worth is not defined by the people around you. Your worth is intrinsic. It's in your heart, in your spirit, in your mind. And if you learn to believe in that, if you learn to see your own value, then no one can take that away from you. You don't need to have a group of friends to prove that you are worthy of love and connection. You don't need to be surrounded by people to prove that you matter. You matter simply because you exist. You matter because you have dreams. You matter because you have a purpose. You matter because you have the potential to make an impact on this world in ways that no one else can. It's okay to be alone sometimes. It's okay to take time for yourself, to focus on your own growth, to build the kind of life that makes you proud. You don't need others to validate your worth. You don't need others to define who you are. Who you are is already enough. Who you are is already worthy. You have to believe that. And you have to act like it. And let me tell you something about loneliness. It's not permanent unless you make it so. You have the power to change it. But it starts with you. It starts with taking responsibility for your own happiness. It starts with the decision that no matter where you are in life, no matter how many people you have or don't have around you, you're going to keep moving forward. You're going to keep growing. You're going to keep working. You're going to keep fighting for your dreams, for your happiness, for your peace of mind. You're going to create the life you want. And when the right people see your strength, your perseverance, your determination, they'll come into your life. But first, you have to show up for yourself every day, all day. I want you to think about the person you are becoming. Think about the woman you're building inside. The one who is strong, who doesn't rely on anyone but herself for validation. The one who wakes up every morning knowing that she's got everything she needs inside of her to make it through another day. That woman has already overcome so much. She's faced challenges, she's fought battles, she's come out on the other side stronger than she was before. She is not defined by her circumstances, and she is not defined by the people who come in and out of her life. She is defined by her will to keep going. She is defined by her ability to stand tall in the face of adversity and keep moving forward. And let me tell you, that woman is in you. She is you. You might not feel like it right now. You might feel small. You might feel weak. You might feel like giving up. But those feelings, they are temporary. And they will pass. But you have to decide to keep going. You have to decide that you will rise above your loneliness, rise above your fear, rise above your doubts. You have to decide that you will become the person you've always dreamed of being, regardless of what anyone else thinks or says. Because at the end of the day, this is your life. And you get to decide how it goes. It's time to start taking responsibility for your own happiness. It's time to stop waiting for someone else to fill that void inside of you. It's time to stop relying on others to make you feel worthy. You are worthy right now. And you will continue to be worthy no matter what happens in your life. You will create your own happiness. You will create your own fulfillment. You will build a life that is full of meaning and purpose. And when the time is right, when you are ready, the right people will come into your life. They'll see the strength in you. They'll see the fire in your soul. They'll see the power you've built from within. And when they come, you will be ready. You will be ready not because you're looking for validation, but because you've already validated yourself. You will be ready because you've already built a life that you are proud of. You will be ready because you've learned to stand tall, to stand strong, to stand alone if necessary, knowing that you don't need anyone else to complete you. You are already whole. Don't let the loneliness fool you. Don't let it convince you that you're unworthy. You are worthy. You are enough. And one day when you look back on this season, you'll realize that it was the moment when you began to truly understand the power that was always within you. It was the moment you stopped waiting for someone else to fix you and started fixing yourself. It was the moment you decided that your happiness, your peace, your success, your strength, all of it starts with you. So keep moving forward, keep growing, keep believing in yourself. Because the life you're meant to live is waiting for you. And it's going to be even greater than you ever imagined. The speech emphasizes that your worth is not dependent on the presence of others in your life. You are inherently valuable, and the pain of loneliness or isolation is temporary. True strength comes from within, and you must learn to build your own confidence, resilience, and happiness regardless of external circumstances. The speech urges you to take ownership of your own happiness and stop waiting for others to validate or complete you. It's about recognizing that you have the power to create the life you want, to build your own fulfillment, and to embrace solitude as an opportunity for growth. Loneliness, while difficult, is portrayed as a transformative season that can lead to self-discovery, strength, and personal growth. By persevering through hardship, you can emerge stronger, more self-reliant, and ready to attract meaningful connections when you're ready not out of need, but out of strength. You see, we live in a world where more often than not, our sense of self-worth is tied to external validation. From a young age, we are taught that our value is measured by how others see us, by how popular we are, how well we perform, how many friends we have, how many likes we get, how many people celebrate us. We're taught that if we're not constantly surrounded by people who validate us, then we're somehow failing. And this idea gets reinforced every time we look around and see others living what seems like a perfect life surrounded by a group of friends, constantly in social settings, always laughing, always smiling, always seeming to be content. But let me tell you something, that image of constant happiness and togetherness is often just that, an image. It's a facade. The truth is, we all struggle. We all face moments where we feel alone, where we question our value, where we wonder if we even matter. And for some, that feeling of loneliness runs deeper. It's not just a passing emotion, but a lingering sense that somehow you're not enough, that there's something about you that's missing, something that prevents you from connecting with others or finding the sense of belonging you crave. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that because no one seems to notice you or because you don't have the friendships you desire, you're somehow less than others. But that is a lie. That is the lie that keeps people stuck, keeps them small, keeps them from stepping into the fullness of who they really are. Self-worth is not something that comes from external sources. It doesn't come from how many people surround you. It doesn't come from how many compliments you get or how many people tell you that you're beautiful, successful, or smart. Those things are nice, but they are fleeting, they are conditional, they are dependent on someone else's perception of you, and perceptions change. What happens when the praise stops? When the praise stops, when the validation fades, when the attention shifts elsewhere. If you've placed your worth in those things, you're left with nothing. You're left empty. True self-worth comes from within. It's about understanding that you are valuable simply because you exist. You are worthy not because of what you do for others or how others see you, but because you are a human being with a unique set of gifts, qualities, and potential. Your worth is intrinsic. It's part of who you are. You don't need to earn it. You don't need to prove it. And you certainly don't need to seek it in others. Once you begin to internalize this truth, it changes everything. It shifts the way you move through the world. You stop looking to others to define you, and instead you start to define yourself. But I'm not saying that this is easy. No, it's a battle. It's a battle because everything around you tells you the opposite. The world tells you that you need to be more to be worthy, more successful, more beautiful, more popular, more likable. Social media constantly bombards you with images of people living what seems like perfect lives. And you start to believe that if you're not living that way, then you're doing something wrong. But let me tell you something right now, that's a lie. No one's life is perfect. Everyone has struggles, everyone has challenges, everyone has moments of doubt. The difference is that some people have learned to accept themselves in the midst of their imperfections. They've learned that their worth isn't tied to how others perceive them. They've learned to stand tall in the face of adversity and say, I am enough just as I am. Now, I know this isn't always easy to accept. We all have doubts. We all have moments where we feel like we don't measure up. I've had those moments. I still have those moments. But here's the key: resilience. The ability to bounce back when life knocks you down, the ability to get back up when you feel like giving up, that's the mark of true strength. It's not about being perfect or having it all together. It's about your ability to keep going, to keep moving forward, even when you don't feel like it. That's resilience. Resilience is the quality that allows you to overcome the obstacles that life throws at you. It's the thing that helps you get through the tough times, the moments when everything seems to be falling apart. And resilience doesn't just come from surviving hardships, it comes from learning from them, from growing stronger in the face of adversity. You see, every time you face a challenge and choose to rise above it, you are building your inner strength. Every time you fall down and get back up, you are becoming more resilient. And resilience is rooted in self-worth. When you believe that you are worthy of a good life, when you believe that you are worthy of success, of love, of happiness, you begin to act like it. You stop accepting less than you deserve. You stop letting people or situations treat you in ways that don't honor your value. You start setting boundaries, you start demanding respect, and you start making choices that align with the person you are becoming. But it's not always an easy journey. There will be times when you feel like giving up. There will be times when you feel like the world is against you, when it feels like nothing is going your way, when loneliness creeps in and makes you question everything. But in those moments, you have to dig deep. You have to find that place inside of you that knows you're worthy, that knows you're strong, that knows you can make it through. You have to tap into your inner strength and remind yourself that you have survived 100% of the difficult moments in your life so far, and you'll survive this one too. Here's the thing: when you have self-worth, you develop resilience because you realize that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. You stop seeing obstacles as roadblocks and start seeing them as stepping stones to becoming the best version of yourself. Resilience is about perspective. It's about shifting your mindset from one of defeat to one of empowerment. When you believe you are worthy of success, you don't let setbacks define you. Instead, you use them as fuel to keep going. You understand that failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of success. Every failure, every mistake, every setback is a lesson that teaches you something valuable. And with every lesson you grow. With every lesson you get stronger. But resilience doesn't mean you never feel down. It doesn't mean you won't have moments of doubt or pain. What it means is that you keep going even when you feel like you can't. It means you don't let those feelings define you or keep you stuck. You acknowledge them, you feel them, but then you move forward. Resilience is the ability to turn pain into power, struggle into strength, and hardship into hope. And that's where true self-worth lies. When you know that no matter what happens, you'll be okay, that you have the strength to weather any storm, that's when you truly begin to understand the power of your own worth. Self-worth and resilience are intertwined. They go hand in hand. When you believe in your worth, you tap into a well of inner strength that can carry you through anything life throws at you. And when you build that resilience, when you keep fighting, when you keep showing up for yourself, you start to see just how strong and capable you really are. You begin to realize that you are not defined by the challenges you face, but by how you rise above them. You become the person who stands tall in the face of adversity, the person who refuses to be broken, the person who knows that no matter how hard life gets, you will never give up. So when life feels tough, when you feel alone, when you feel like no one sees you or understands you, remember this: you are worthy. You are strong. You are strong. You are capable. And you are resilient. No matter what comes your way, no matter how many setbacks you face, you have everything inside of you to not just survive, but to thrive. It all starts with believing in yourself, trusting in your worth, and knowing that you have the strength to keep going no matter what. Let's talk about something that is so crucial to your well-being, to your life, to your journey, taking responsibility for your happiness. I know when you hear that, it might sound a little intimidating. It might sound like something you already know but haven't fully embraced. But let me tell you, there is power in taking responsibility for your own happiness. There is freedom in knowing that your happiness, your peace of mind, and your joy are not dependent on anyone else or anything else. It's about understanding that at the end of the day, the way you feel, the way you respond to the world, and the choices you make, those things are in your hands. And once you truly accept that, once you own your happiness, everything in your life begins to change. So many people go through life waiting for someone else to make them happy. They wait for a partner, a friend, a boss, or even a family member to give them the love, respect, and validation that will make them feel good about themselves. They think that when they get the right job, when they finally meet their soulmate, when they finally fit into a certain group, everything will just fall into place. But here's the hard truth: waiting for external circumstances to create your happiness is a trap. And it's a trap that keeps you stuck, keeps you dependent, and keeps you from truly embracing the power that you have to shape your own life. Happiness, true happiness, comes from within. It's not something that can be given to you by someone else. It's not something that you can find in a new job or a new relationship. Yes, those things might bring temporary joy, but real, lasting happiness comes from the way you choose to live your life, the way you choose to show up in the world, and the way you choose to take ownership of your own emotions, your own thoughts, and your own actions. Let me tell you something: no one else can make you happy if you don't already know how to make yourself happy. You can't rely on anyone else to fill the emptiness inside of you. You can't wait for someone else to fix your life. You are the one who gets to decide what your life looks like, what you feel, and how you respond to the challenges that come your way. Taking responsibility for your happiness is about taking back your power, recognizing that no one else has control over your emotional state unless you let them. It's about no longer giving your power away, no longer letting the circumstances of life dictate how you feel. When you make the conscious decision to take responsibility for your happiness, you take back control over your life. Now, I know this isn't easy. I know there are times when life feels like it's piling up on you, when it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, and it seems like you have no control over anything. But here's where the shift happens. Even in those moments, even in the hardest of times, you still have the ability to choose how you respond. And that choice is where your power lies. It's about making the decision that no matter what happens in your life, no matter what other people do or don't do, you will choose to find happiness. You will choose to look for the good, to see the silver lining, to focus on what you can control instead of what you can't. That is the key to true happiness. So many people spend their whole lives chasing happiness and external things, chasing the next promotion, the next relationship, the next material possession. They think that once they get that thing, their happiness will follow. But what happens when they reach that goal? More often than not, they find that the happiness is short-lived. The promotion doesn't feel as fulfilling as they thought it would. The new relationship doesn't bring the joy they expected. The new car, the new house, the new clothes, they all lose their appeal after a while. And why is that? Because happiness isn't something that can be obtained through things or other people. It's an internal state, a way of thinking, a way of being. When you take responsibility for your happiness, you stop relying on external factors to dictate your emotional state. You stop waiting for the world to change before you can feel good. Instead, you choose to create your own happiness regardless of what's going on around you. That doesn't mean ignoring your struggles. It doesn't mean pretending that life is always perfect. It means recognizing that you have the power to find peace, joy, and fulfillment even in the midst of difficulty. It means embracing the fact that happiness is a mindset, and it's a mindset that you have the ability to cultivate within yourself. Taking responsibility for your happiness also means letting go of the victim mentality. We all have moments when we feel sorry for ourselves, when we feel like life is unfair or like things aren't going the way we want them to. But the moment you step into the victim mindset is the moment you give away your power. The moment you believe that things are happening to you instead of for you is the moment you lose control of your life. Because when you blame others, when you blame your circumstances, you're essentially saying that you have no control over your happiness. You're giving your emotional state away to forces outside of your control. But here's the truth: you can control how you respond. You can control how you interpret the events in your life. You can control your attitude, your mindset, and the way you choose to move forward. Taking responsibility for your happiness means choosing to look at life as a series of opportunities, not obstacles. It means understanding that you can't always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you react. You can choose to learn from your challenges, to grow from them, and to use them to become stronger and more resilient. Taking responsibility for your happiness also means learning how to set boundaries. So often, people sacrifice their own well-being for the sake of others. They put everyone else's needs before their own. They say yes when they really want to say no. And they allow others to drain their energy, their time, and their peace of mind. But when you take responsibility for your happiness, you stop putting everyone else first. You start putting yourself first, not in a selfish way, but in a way that ensures that you are taking care of your own mental, emotional, and physical health. You set boundaries to protect your peace, to protect your energy, and to protect your joy. You learn that it's okay to say no when you need to. It's okay to prioritize yourself, to put your needs above others' needs when it's necessary for your well-being. Setting boundaries also means recognizing when you're allowing negativity to seep into your life. It means learning to say no to toxic people, to negative influences, to situations that drain you. Taking responsibility for your happiness means you stop allowing negativity to control your life. You stop letting people's opinions, criticisms, or judgments dictate how you feel about yourself. You stop letting toxic relationships, toxic environments, or toxic mindsets hold you back from your happiness. You are in control, and you decide what kind of energy you allow into your life. And here's the thing: when you start to take responsibility for your own happiness, you start to notice a shift in your relationships. When you stop depending on others for your happiness, when you stop putting the pressure on them to make you feel good, your relationships become more authentic. You begin to attract people who add value to your life, people who support and uplift you, people who respect your boundaries, people who love you for who you are, not because they're filling a void, but because they genuinely want to be in your life. Taking responsibility for your happiness also requires letting go of the need for perfection. So many people hold themselves to impossible standards, thinking that they have to be perfect in every area of their life in order to be happy. But perfection is an illusion. No one is perfect. Everyone has flaws, everyone has weaknesses, and everyone makes mistakes. When you take responsibility for your happiness, you learn to embrace your imperfections. You learn to accept yourself, flaws and all, and to recognize that your worth isn't tied to your ability to be perfect. It's tied to your humanity, your willingness to grow, to learn, and to keep moving forward despite your imperfections. When you start to take responsibility for your happiness, you also start to realize that joy is a choice. You choose joy in the small moments, in the little things. You find happiness in the simple pleasures, whether it's a cup of coffee in the morning, a walk in the park, a good book, or time spent with loved ones. You stop waiting for big grand events to make you happy. You start to see the beauty in the everyday moments, the things that often get overlooked when we're too focused on the future or the past. But most importantly, when you take responsibility for your happiness, you begin to live with purpose. You understand that your life has meaning, that you have a mission, and that your happiness is not just about you, it's about living in alignment with your values, your passions, and your true self. You start to live intentionally, making choices that reflect who you really are and what you truly want out of life. And when you live with purpose, happiness becomes a natural byproduct. You begin to create a life that's fulfilling, meaningful, and aligned with your truest desires. Self-discovery is one of the most profound and life-altering processes that any person can go through. It's the journey of peeling back the layers of who we think we are, who we've been told we are, and uncovering the truth of who we really are beneath all the noise and expectations. This is not a journey for the faint of heart, because self-discovery requires you to confront the parts of yourself that you may not want to face, the fears, the doubts, the insecurities, and the parts of you that have been hidden for so long. But through that confrontation, through the difficult, often painful process of looking inward, you begin to see yourself in a new light. You begin to understand that who you were yesterday doesn't have to define who you are today. You realize that every choice, every experience, and every failure has brought you closer to the person you are meant to become. The beauty of self-discovery lies in the fact that it's not a one-time event, it's an ongoing process, a lifelong journey. You don't wake up one day and suddenly have all the answers. Instead, you begin to ask better questions. You start to dig deeper, not only into the world around you, but into your own soul. You begin to look at yourself with curiosity, with compassion, and with a willingness to evolve. Self-discovery isn't about finding a perfect version of yourself. It's about understanding that you are always in the process of becoming. You are not a static being. You are constantly growing, changing, and reinventing yourself. And through that process, you start to realize that you have the power to shape your own life, your own destiny, and your own sense of fulfillment. The transformation that happens through self-discovery is not always immediate. It's not always clear-cut. In fact, it can feel like you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. You may go through periods where everything seems to make sense, where the pieces of your life fall into place, only to be followed by moments of doubt and uncertainty. This is the ebb and flow of growth. And it's important to understand that discomfort is a necessary part of transformation. Growth never happens in a straight line. It happens through struggle, through challenges, through moments when you feel like you're lost or stuck. But the very act of questioning who you are, what you want, and what truly makes you happy forces you to move forward. It pushes you out of your comfort zone and forces you to confront the things that have held you back. Through self-discovery, you come to understand that your past does not define you. The mistakes you've made, the failures you've experienced, and the times you've been hurt or let down by others, all of these things are part of your story, but they are not your entire story. You may carry scars from the past, but those scars don't have to control your future. They don't have to dictate your choices or limit your potential. In fact, your scars are a testament to your resilience, your ability to overcome, and your capacity to grow. When you go through the process of self-discovery, you begin to look at your past not with shame or regret, but with a sense of gratitude. You realize that the challenges you faced, as painful as they may have been, have shaped you into the person you are today. And as you move forward, you begin to see how those experiences have equipped you with the wisdom, strength, and resilience to face whatever comes next. As you go deeper into self-discovery, you start to understand that your identity is not defined by your role in society. It's not defined by what you do for a living, the titles you hold, or the accolades you accumulate. Society often places a great deal of emphasis on external achievements, but true fulfillment comes from within. The world may tell you that you need to look a certain way, act a certain way, or achieve a certain level of success to be worthy, but when you embark on the journey of self-discovery, you begin to realize that none of those things truly matter when it comes to your sense of happiness. What matters is who you are when no one is watching, when you're not performing, when you're not trying to meet someone else's expectations. The person you are beneath all the external noise, that is the person you need to get to know. One of the most powerful things about self-discovery is that it empowers you to start making choices that align with your authentic self. When you don't know who you are, it's easy to get caught up in the opinions and expectations of others. You may make decisions based on what others think you should do, based on what's expected of you, or based on what seems like the right thing to do. But when you truly begin to understand yourself, when you start to see yourself for who you really are, you become less concerned with the opinions of others. You begin to live your life for you, not for anyone else. You make choices that honor your values, your passions, and your true desires. This is the heart of self-discovery, knowing what you want, why you want it, and having the courage to go after it without fear of judgment or rejection.